All right, I got Smitty up here with me this week. Welcome to the show, Smitty.
Thanks for
Let's get into some first round action. Obviously can't cover everything. 64 different teams going at it, along with the second round. But let's get started with some upsets. First off, McNeese taking down Clemson. Smitty, thoughts on this one?
Before we get into the game, let's talk about their student manager, Amir Orakan.
Yeah.
What a guy. He's he coming out with the speaker and helping out the team. I think that's a pretty cool thing to get somebody involved, especially with a college team.
I think he might have made more in NIL money than the actual players themselves.
Yeah, I agree.
I think
he
they know
has
more
he has
about him than them.
9 or 12 NIL deals.
Yeah,
and
crazy.
Which is pretty cool. And did you also see next year he's moving with the McNeese coach to NC State?
Oh, he's going to NC State?
Yeah.
Nah, I did not see that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, he's going to NC State with McNeese's coach. So that's cool that he's following in his footsteps. But to get into the game, Kadir Copeland had 16 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Christian Shoemate had 13 points, 11 rebounds, and Brandon Murray had 21 points. So
yeah. Copeland was really good. Honestly, it looked like Clemson couldn't guard them a lot of the times.
Yeah.
I mean, they couldn't score for anything. That was
they
part
were
of the
like
problem.
they were like 5 for 20 something.
Yeah.
From the 3 for
couldn't score. They scored 13 points in the first half.
Yeah,
I mean, you're not going to win games.
Awful game for Clemson.
And I picked them to the Final Four, of course.
And you normally see that from a 5 seed.
Yeah, especially Clemson too, because they've been great all year.
Yeah.
And then sort of the last 10 minutes, they pick it up, start hitting every single shot, but you can hit every shot in the last minute. It just wasn't enough.
Yeah.
They were too far behind.
Definitely.
All right, next up, we saw number 11 Drake take down number 6 Missouri for another upset. Bennett Sturts led the way, 21 points, and Drake took it 67-57.
Yeah, I had Drake winning. I knew Missouri is a good team, but Drake had a great season. They had 2 losses this whole season, and they were just a good team.
Yeah, they were good. I mean, I thought Missouri was just going to win because, I mean, they looked great all season. I thought they even had a chance to go to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
But I think their problem, they shot 33%, 25% from 3.
Yeah, and Drake shot 54%.
It's not a recipe for success.
When you're over 50% and you're gonna most likely gonna win the game every time.
Yeah.
But if you're under, you're gonna lose more than 90% of the time. You have to make the buckets in order to win.
Exactly. How about Bennett Sturts? Like I said, 21 points, but he was making all sorts of shots.
Yeah, he was
off one leg.
He was all over the paint. Just a great game for him.
Yeah, I mean, not too many crazy upsets, too many Cinderella teams, but we also saw number 12 Colorado State. They took down number 5 Memphis in the first round. They later got taken down by Maryland in a heartbreaker. Let's just talk about that game because it was crazy.
Yeah, but before we get into that, another 5 seed going down.
Two 5 seeds.
2 5 seeds going out early. That just shows that 5 seeds in general are just they're always they're
hit or miss. I feel
they're hit or miss. I saw something that normally all 5 seeds either they get upsetted or they don't even they get past the first 2 rounds but never win the actual championship. Yeah,
now that you think about it, it's pretty right. Who are the other 2 5 seeds? I'm trying to think.
Not on the top of my head, I can't think of them, but those are 2 right there that went out in the first round or the second round. So.
Yeah, and Oregon got taken out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 5 seeds not doing too well this year. But for Colorado State, Niqua Clifford, or however you say his name, 21 points, 7 rebounds. Don't get the name twisted. I couldn't pronounce it, but he was a stud.
Yep.
He had close to 700 points this year. I think he broke a record for the most amount of points for Colorado State.
Yeah.
In a single year. But, they take the lead with 2 seconds left. Derek Queen, game-winning shot. He had 17, 6 rebounds. He's been a stud all year too, man.
Yeah, freshman coming into Maryland. He's a great player. He's big too. He could shoot the ball as well. So
yeah, he could do a lot. Reminds me of DeMarcus Cousins. his game, how he used to look.
Yeah.
But question on that last shot, he kind of took a gather, 2 steps. Do you think it was a travel?
I think it was a travel because you cannot take it in college basketball. You cannot take a gather step.
That's fair. I know a lot of people were saying that, but I feel like in the heat of that moment, the way he sort of went at it, took 2 steps after the gather. I just feel like that's a clean move in the moment.
Yes,
You can't call
it's
that
a very
travel.
clean move, but and like with less than a
We
second.
see that in college all the time.
Yeah, less than a second to go. I don't think the refs are also going to call that, you
Yeah.
know. Like that's just it's too far in the game and too close of a game for the refs to call a controversy call like that.
And then do you think Maryland can beat Florida?
I do think so. I think Maryland, if Derek Queen has a great game again,
Absolutely.
he hits his shots, gets in the paint and gets those rebounds. I definitely think Maryland can top on Florida, but Florida does have a great offense, so
When Florida's on, they're dangerous too.
yeah.
They're
It's
if not the best.
it is going to
in the
be.
nation.
I think it's definitely going to be one of the best games in the Sweet 16,
Yeah.
if not the best. So
Hmm.
we'll see what happens there.
All right. Yeah. Let's talk about the 2 10 seeds who made little runs, one more than the other. First off, New Mexico. They took down Marquette 75-66.
Yeah, great game for New Mexico. Donovan Dent had 21 points, 6 assists. Nelly Jr. Joseph had 19 points, 7 rebounds. So good game. New Mexico
Dent-
comes out on top though.
Yeah, Dent had a good game. Great all year. I watched a little bit of him. Watched him in high school too. Their coach Richard Pitino, he's actually moving over to Xavier.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
He's going to be
I'm
coaching.
wondering if Donovan Dent's gonna follow with him. I could definitely see that, but
He's going to be coaching in the same division or same conference as his father.
oh yeah,
So
forgot
that's
about
going to be
that.
interesting.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, Michigan State next round, they battled till the end and took down New Mexico.
Yep.
So great game. Once again, another good game for New Mexico, but they just couldn't get the job done.
Yeah. Arkansas, on the other hand, they're still dancing all the way to the Sweet 16. They took down Kansas first round, but the big upset in the second, they take down St. John's, and this one killed me. What were your thoughts on this one?
I just don't think St. John's had it in them, to be honest.
They
well,
definitely had it in them.
I mean,
But
Rick
for
Pitino
that game,
benched his star player too. So
yeah, it's a controversial decision, benching your best player. I would always say, no matter what's happening, keep shooting. You ride with your best player.
yeah,
But 3 for 17 is tough.
I
3 for
understand.
17.
Yeah, I understand he wasn't have a good game and he had to change things up. But your best player is on the bench. That's just the mindset that's gonna give to all the other teammates. Like
Yeah, I think.
the best player's on the bench. That means somebody else has to step up. But whatever's going through his brain is traveling through the whole team.
Yeah, I could see that. I think just for this game in particular, for St. John's, the way they shot the ball, you just can't win the game that way. Obviously, they're a tremendous team on defense, but even then, the Arkansas guys, they had their way. I just thought the way that they shot the ball, their best player, R.J. Lewis, All-American, going 3 for 17, they couldn't win the game that way. And Kadari Richmond, 5 points as well. Those are their 2 best scorers. I think those guys definitely need to make a bigger impact.
Yeah,
And if they did, I think they definitely
they
obviously
definitely would have won that.
won
They
it,
definitely would have
but-
won that game and have moved on to the Sweet 16.
good game for Calipari and his guys. They're definitely they're I wouldn't say underseeded, but they're better than a 10 seed for how much talent they have.
Yep.
They were injured early in the season.
Yeah, so the injuries definitely got them earlier in the season. If
Yeah,
they
but
didn't have those, if they didn't have those injuries, they definitely would have been a higher seed this year.
All right. Before we end the episode off, let's talk about some hot teams, some Sweet 16 matchups. First off, number 6 BYU versus number 2 Alabama. I'm actually going to see this one in person. What are your predictions for this game?
I think Bama's got it. They have a great offense. BYU is coming off of a win versus VCU and number 3 Wisconsin. They are coming
Good wins.
They are coming off that upset win, but I still think Bama has the better offense and the better defense, and I think they'll pull through.
Yeah, I think they got the better offense and defense, but most of all, offense. And I think, Mark Sears, I think he's going to play well. Aiden Holloway, they need a good game from him to back it up. I think Alabama will take this one, just especially because Nate Oates, he knows how to coach them well in March. Both first 2 rounds they struggled a little against Robert Morris, but Nate Oates got him going. I think Alabama will definitely make another run again. I think they'll get cut off by Duke, but I definitely think they'll win this game.
Yeah, I totally agree
Sort of
with you.
newer coach BYU team.
Yep.
All right, number 1 Florida versus number 4 Maryland. Sort of talked about that before. Florida coming off a close round 2 win versus UConn.
Yeah, that was a great game.
That was a
actually.
really good game.
I feel bad for Dan Hurley and his team, but
I just didn't think they had it in them this year.
I don't think they didn't.
They
They
did
definitely
what they
didn't have
could,
the
but-
championship teams they've had in the past or the past 2 years, but they still stuck in it. But they just couldn't get the job done, and it was too late.
Yeah, like they said, with the effort they put out, that's how they want to go out.
Yeah.
But Walter Clayton absolutely took over, 23 points. And then Maryland, on the other hand, coming off that Derek Queen game winner. So both teams coming
Coming in
off,
hot.
coming in hot, coming in on a roll. I think it could go either way. I think Maryland could have their way, but I also think Florida just a little bit too good. And I think Walter Clayton, with how he's been looking, I think he's going to take over.
Yeah,
I think Florida will take it.
I totally agree, but I do think I'm still
I think there's a possibility.
I'm still sticking with Maryland and coming off that hot win with a second left to go. So not even a second, with 0 seconds left to go. So I think they're gonna get the dub here.
All right, another 1-4 game. Duke versus Arizona. Duke coming off 2 big wins, margin of 67 points in the two games. I see Cooper Flagg looking fully healthy. Tyrese Proctor shooting the hell out of the ball, 7 for 8 from 3. I just see Duke taking this
Yeah,
one.
I no doubt. I think Duke is taking it. Just their Proctor, Flag, they're unbelievable. Their whole team is loaded. Like even the bench is loaded.
They're loaded and they're connected right now.
Yeah, they're all like they all know how to play with each other. I think they're definitely the most binded team
Yeah.
in the tournament. So I think they're gonna keep on dancing and probably make their way to the championship.
Yep. All right. Number 3 Texas Tech versus Arkansas. Honestly, I'm gonna go with the upset. I'm gonna say number 10 Arkansas
I could see that.
keeps moving on to the Elite Eight.
I definitely could see that, and I totally agree with you. I think they will move on.
All right. Michigan State versus Ole Miss. I got Michigan State. I think the defense will be too much. I know Ole Miss had a good win last round versus Iowa State. We see 3 seed. It's a big win, but I think Iowa State was a little bit depleted. And I think Ole Miss, their run will end right here.
I could see them losing, but I also can see them winning. I think that coming off that win versus Iowa State, I think that will give them momentum, and they could beat Michigan State, but also Michigan State is a very good team. So
I think you go either way, but
exactly.
go with Michigan State. All right, and then let's give predictions for these last few games. Number 3 versus number 2. Number 3 Kentucky versus Tennessee. This one's hard. I'm gonna go with Kentucky.
I'm going to go with Tennessee. I think they have a better offense, but Kentucky's defense is very good too.
Kentucky's defense is good, and when guys step up on their team, they're very good too. Otega Owe, Kobe Bria, he's a great shooter.
Yep.
I think the way Coach Mark Pope has them looking right now, I think they can head to the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
All right, and then Auburn versus Michigan. It's another one that could go either way, but I'm going to take Auburn.
I'm going to take Auburn as well, but Michigan definitely is hard to beat. They definitely can beat them. So
Yeah, Dusty May has him looking really good in his first year.
But I'm going to take Auburn here.
All right, and then last game, Houston coming off a close win versus Gonzaga, and then Purdue, who recently took down, the fan favorite McNeese. Who do you got?
I say Purdue.
I could definitely see Purdue, but I'm going to go Houston. I think Emmanuel Sharp, he's been looking good. LJ Cryer, I think Houston has what it takes to, even make the Final Four, in my opinion.
I think they're frauds. I think I don't think they're number one
I think they're good.
seed worthy, but we'll see.
I think Kelvin Sampson is a great coach. I mean, they're definitely number 1 seed worthy because they had the record for it. They
had the
anything
record,
else,
but like also I think they're frauds, and I don't think that they will be able to beat a Purdue team.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, there's 7 SEC teams. We'll see if they continue to, prevail. But that's going to do it for this week's round 1 and 2 coverage. Stay tuned for next week. We'll have plenty more to cover on the Sweet 16 and Elite 8.